And then we will be sending this to you this afternoon, as well as a couple other little goodies for you. So the very first thing that I want to draw your attention to is your Help Center in Infusionsoft. When we get into the application in a few minutes, I will show you exactly where these pieces are, but you're going to have access to your user guide, to the video library, tech support, in phone support as well as chat support, and then access to Mastermind webinar recordings. And this is what we're going to go over today. How to add a new contact a few different ways manually, then how to do a simple import, go over a couple of different ways to view the list, different ways to search for a contact. Excuse me, I haven't talked much this morning. How to save a search and then add it to your dashboard, and then how to tag a contact a couple of different ways, and then take a look at the contact record in detail. So first, we have Infusionsoft.mobile.com/mobile. I don't know if you have the need for this, but it is kind of a cool toy. So you would just download this onto your smartphone, and it's you're very user-friendly. You can add contacts, you can look at your contacts, put notes on there, something else. Opportunities are coming, I believe, if they're not already there. And also, this little next piece here called Snap by Infusionsoft lives inside of Infusionsoft.mobile now. They used to be separate. You don't find this in the App Store by itself anymore. So you're going to have to go into Infusionsoft.mobile to access Infusionsoft Snap. So this is a fun toy. It is something that if you are business card heavy, that it would be super easy for you to put people into your Infusionsoft without having to type anything. So what you do is download the application on your smartphone, then go to the app, take a picture of the business card that you're wanting to add to Infusionsoft. Then the picture, you can see how it says awaiting processing. What it's doing is going off to transcribing. I always call it Never Never Land. It's getting transcribed to then, about an hour later, you'll get a notification that says, hey, your card for Mallory has been transcribed. Then you can go click on it, and then you're tagging it. So you get to sort who these people are and put them into a maybe a networking campaign, a nice to meet you campaign, a follow-up type thing automatically, and create some automation there. So I mentioned something called tags, and hopefully you know a little bit more about tags than not. So with Infusionsoft, we are different. We have one big list that you can organize by tags. So I call it a big pile of people. Our list is just one big one. When you're in MailChimp or Constant Contact or any of the other ones, you might have a newsletter list, a prospect list, a customer list, all of these different lists. And it probably is true that if I was once a prospect, now I'm a customer and I'm on your newsletter list, I'm on 3 of those lists. So it's just a backwards way. Infusionsoft has now transferred that. So instead of having me on 3 lists, I'm on one big list with 3 tags. So our big list, if you were to look my name up, I'm going to have a newsletter list, a prospect. I maybe clicked a link or visited a website. There's lots of different things that you can have associated to your name. And there's reasons behind that. So let's talk tags. Tags are a way to segment your list, a way to organize groups, a way to keep track of certain behaviors. By applying a tag to a contact or a group of contacts, you can start them in a campaign and also stop them. So here's some examples. We have prospect, customer, dog lover, cat lover, visited, yoga, applicant. So you have a bunch of different tags in here. Some of them are who they are, and some of them are what they've done. And that's a good little habit to get into, is tracking your customers for what they do. And that's what Infusionsoft is so good with. So while they're in an email, they click on a link and they could be tagged for their action by clicking that link to your website or filling out that form. What else? Just for, I'm trying to think of other actions that they could do. So filling out a form, clicking on links. There's several things, and you'll be able to see that in the campaign builder. Oh yeah, they're right here, duh. Visited website, opened a document, clicked on a video. I just had a little brain freeze there. Thanks, Tara. She just said that, downloaded a document. So tags are also applied when doing an import on individual contact records, automatically in a campaign, automatically in an email link to an entire group, and then we call that mass tagging, and then using the Snap app. And by the end of today, this is what I'd like you to kind of try to do on your own. So adding a few contacts, Snap, if this is something you might want to use, get that installed on your phone through the mobile app. Remember, it's not separate anymore. And then create a few tags, add a tag to a contact record, do a small import, and then search based on a certain tag. And then my favorite, make Infusionsoft yours. This is your baby to do with what you want. You can't hurt anything at this stage. I'm sure I've had a couple of clients years ago that had accidentally sent an email out when they weren't finished, sent it to the database. Accidents happen all the time, and that's okay. But just try little things with a small group of people and test things out. So we'll go on to questions later, and I'm going to get into the application now. And this is my application. I use it for several different things. I am choir director for my church, so I have all of my choir people in here. I was also my reunion coordinator for my high school. So I uploaded everybody. I sent them an email with their preferences for what they wanted to do for their reunion. And you'll see some of those things when I do some of the searches and things to teach you. So we talked about the very first thing we want to do is add a new contact. And we have a couple of different ways that you can do that manually. The very first one is by this the little plus sign here, little blue plus sign. If you click on it, a little add a contact page comes up that is only for this very small amount of information. Easy to add and quick. So let's add now, by adding somebody's email address, something pops up here. It says, I have permission to send marketing to this address. And this is super important that if we want to email Mitchell, that we say, yes, he gave me express permission that says, I would like to receive your email. We ran into each other in the stairwell or in the elevator, and he gave me his business card and said, I would love to be added to your blah, blah, blah. So one at a time is okay to be able to do that if you have their permission. So now there's a second way of adding people. We're going to go to CRM, Contacts, and I'm hovering over the upside down arrow and the navigation bar opens up. So go to CRM, Contacts, And you'll notice that all of the things that are under CRM here, when I click on CRM, are now across here. So if you're going to be in the CRM area, you don't have to hover any longer. You can just come to the specific drop-downs. The same thing with marketing. If I click on marketing, all of the marketing pieces are now under the gray bar. So let's go back to CRM, to contacts. Now we need to add a contact from this specific area. So clicking under here, little drop down, add a contact. And it takes us to a half page and lots of information that we can add. Standard add contact form is what we're looking at. So we have all of their contact information, and we have a secondary address, a third address, additional information, person notes, and then you'll see I have some extra things up here, but yours would just have a custom field button up here. So custom fields for the contact record you're allowed to have 100 additional fields for custom fields in a contact record. So let me show you some of them. I sent a survey out to my coworkers here, trying to it was just kind of a get to know you type of survey. So things like, how do you like to be led? What's your favorite indoor outdoor activity? So I had people fill these questions out, and these were considered each one of these is considered one of my custom fields. So now let's add somebody to the database this way. Now, what did you see? This little yellow button or the yellow box pop up? Carol said yes, that she would like to receive information from me. I'm going to click on save. And now once we hit save, it is now opened up to the entire contact record for Carol. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. What we do now is learn how to do our import. So I have a file over here I'd like to show you. I have a question real quick. Can you auto-populate the social media areas inside the contact form? That is, can we make a form that would ask them this and then it would populate those fields? Let's go take a peek. I'll show you that on the import information, and that will answer my question because I'm not quite sure. This is new since I was a coach, so, or at least some of them. I know that the website, I want to just say yes. I'm going to say yes, but I'll show you where it's at. So I'm trying to find my form here. I had a little sample file, but I think I'm just going to show you where it's at. Okay, so where we are, we're going to hover and go all the way over to admin to import data. Barbara is asking, I'll be importing 2,000 names from LinkedIn. Under the names, under the columns of first name and last name, many people have acronyms like doctor. Those are titles, Barbara. So if you, I'll show you that in a minute too. So let's get into this into the import area. So import data under admin. And then it's going to ask us if we want to use these tools, and I recommend that you don't. They're not, it allows you to import easily, but it puts a lot of stuff into Infusionsoft you don't need. So what I like to do is just export from my wherever I am, MailChimp or Constant Contact, and then put it into a CSV file and clean up all of those fields. Make sure that all those fields are pertinent to what you're doing now. So let's click on Go because I'm going to be importing contacts. And it allows you to watch a quick little video on importing contacts or download a sample CSV file. And that's what I wanted to show you. So let's click on Download. And what this is showing you are field headers that match Infusionsoft field headers that makes it just super easy to do the import. So first name, middle name, last name, etc. I don't need a middle name, so I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to delete that field. Then here's a title, and that's Barbara, what you're talking about. Suffix, title or suffix, you can choose where you would like that. You have company, lead source, job title, and now here's an important one, contact notes. So where you met John, this is important for relationship building. We met at the winter conference, so that triggers a memory for me, and I know what to say or do when I get on the phone with him. So contact notes are important. And then this is the most important, our tags. So prospect, newsletter, and event attendee. John is these three things. Now, when I could import this with no tags and then have to go into every record and then tag them by who I think I remember who they are. It's best to go ahead and put all their information that you know inside the CSV file before import. And then if they have several different characteristics or different tags, then you separate them by a comma. As it says, tip, multiple tags can be entered and separated by comma. So let's do another one. Minnie Mouse. Mrs. I think they're married. Infusionsoft will put her Disney. Lead source, Mickey told me about Minnie. She is the best mouse ever. And met at Disneyland. Tags, she's a mouse, comma. Disney, she's associated to Disney, comma. Best character, maybe not, that's an opinion, but it's not really a tag. It would be character though, could be a tag. Now, notes could be best character. That's my opinion. There we go. So now we can save this file as a CSV file here. People sample. Now we can go browse for that. Click on Next. Barbara is asking, should there be a space after the comma? No, you don't need to. You can just have a comma and it'll put everything in there fine. Now what you're seeing here is field matched by an Infusionsoft field is this little green arrow. If there's a field in there that's not matched, you're going to have a yield sign, or you chose not to import the field. So let's pretend that we don't need a suffix. So we can come to our thing here and it says do not import this field. And maybe we don't need a fax number. Scroll all the way back up. Do not import this field. And you might have a couple that look like this, that have a no match. So you have to go in and find the best match. So lead source might be, oh, we found one, but it's going to be named different. Your file could be named a little bit different. So we just need to find the best match for that field. Once we're done, we click on Next. And it's going to show us a couple of, it's recognizing things, but we want to make sure. So field values we tried to match for you. And yes, they do match, and that's okay. And here is that question again. Do you plan on sending email marketing to these contacts? And this is just looking a little different than that yellow box that pops up when you add one person at a time. So of course we want to plan on sending email marketing. And how did they get to you? How did they become a contact? Well, 80% of them filled out a form on my website. A few of them have purchased a product from me, but that does not mean I can put them in my newsletter list or into a campaign. A few have attended an event. I was given a list of attendees. No, they signed up at my booth. This is the safest one because then they probably, if you are doing it correctly, they know that they're going to be being added to a list, something they've signed or yes, something that they signed when they were at your booth. That's the safest. The whole idea behind this is that you don't have any spam complaints. Infusionsoft is very diligent about making sure that our lists are clean. We're sending email on behalf of you, and we want to make sure that we are all above board. So personal interaction, social media, through association membership. So you could go ahead and read through some of these things and get an idea of what a good list looks like. Now, this one says, which service provider or providers have you been sending this list through? Let's choose MailChimp. And what method of opt-in have you been using? You could have a double opt-in list, but it always, coming into Infusionsoft, will always be a single opt-in list. Then you have the opportunity to double opt-in later. How long have you been emailing or building this list? When was the last time that you sent information to the list? I forgot to send my newsletter in February or March, so it's been a month. And how many emails will you be sending them? Oh, about 1 to 5. And who are these people to you? This is my current list or current database. Now what this does is shows you where those fields fell. Looks really good. We have contact notes, met at the winter conference. And here is tags, prospect, newsletter, and event attendee. Now we could, if we needed to, create a corresponding company record for everyone that has a company, and we also could run some actions. Now actions in Infusionsoft, we have several that we could do with this entire list of people we just imported. And this is the list. We could apply, remove a tag, start them immediately into a campaign, start and stop a follow-up sequence, send an email, copy actions. All of these things you could do, but we really live in here, apply and remove a tag. For this specific lesson, let's just say April 11th, 2017 list. And this is inside our prospect category. So tags also have they have 2 levels. The tag above it, or the category, is kind of the umbrella. It is the umbrella. So category is what you hold it in. The tags, and I'll show you an example in a second, but the tags are very detailed. So let's create this tag and save, and then click on Done. And it is showing us that the import is done. And then imported John and Minnie. And I forgot to go through your questions, Tara or Barbara. No, I think I did. I showed you that part, but the social media part, let's go take a peek at that really quick. I just want to look at those in here and see what is available. Yep, they are. So Tara asked that. So all you're doing is remapping. So yours over here would say that. Let's just pretend that your website said Facebook. So all you're going to do is come over here and find the Facebook field to match it to. Does that make sense, Tara? Perfect. All right. Sorry, I forgot to do that. All right, now let's go back to that list of our import. And this is showing, I'll just show you what this is. I went to admin to import data, and then I'm viewing our previous import. And it allows me to view the records here. Or what if I made a mistake and imported the wrong list or a duplicate list and I didn't need to? I could come here to roll back and get rid of that list completely, along with all the tags, etc. So here is an import I did on the 3rd. 215 people. I could view that list and I could roll it back. So let's take a view, let's take a look at this group of people, and these are the actions I could take with them. And then I also wanted to show you, let's see, wanted to get the other view of that. So let's go into, I want to find out who they are, go grab a list of people I just imported, but in a different area. So we're in the import contact search, but I want to go into the contact search itself so we can do a search for tags. So we're going to go to CRM and contacts. And this is where we're going to look for people, but also have saved searches. And it's going to create a list that we can then put on our dashboard. So we can use this by, we want to find all the people that have a name starting with letter M. There's 249 people. And then I could save this search if I wanted to. So I could say save names starting with M and save this. Now, over on the right-hand side here, we have all of our saved searches, and names starting with an M is one of those saved searches. Let's do a new search. I want to look at everyone in my database that does not have an email address. So look at this. It says starts with or does not contain right here an @ because I want to know how many people I should be calling instead of, I don't want them to fall through the cracks. So it doesn't contain an @ search. I have 300 people that don't have an email address that I just need to call them or send them snail mail. So we can save. And this is going to be my non-email contacts. Tara is asking, can you rename the saved searches? So let's go take a peek. Let's look up no email address. This is an older one that I had just in my old, when I taught this a while back. Go to options here and rename this list. And then how do I avoid importing duplicates? Lee is asking. So now that we have this import done, let's go look at how to clean up those duplicates, and then we'll go on to those other things. So we're going to go back over to admin, and then we have something underneath the import data called data cleanup. And what we're going to do is check for duplicates. It's going to run you through some different comparisons of what to look for. And then check all records. Check all records that have not been marked as a dupe already, or check records that haven't been checked already. And let's do all of them. It's going to take a little bit longer than the others. And then it's going to give you some other pieces that you could check with. So stages. How does the system check for dupes? A stage represents a group of checks where any match against a check in a stage will cause a record to be marked as a duplicate. So anything in there. So I usually just leave it all checked and click on next. I leave it all checked because I want them, they could have a different, from the email address, it could be their physical address, it could be, there's a lot of things in there that could be a duplicate. It's done, and now we can view that list, and it's saying that there's 85. Now, I have an option here to manually merge all of these one at a time, or I could go up to data cleanup and merge them all at once if I knew that I accidentally merged two lists, or I accidentally uploaded two lists, or maybe you've uploaded a list from 6 months later that it's the same people, but there's a few extra. And all you have to do is do that duplicate check, and this is how you would do a single merge one. So Daisy has, her first name is Daisy. This one has Daisy and Duck. So the email address is what we're really concerned with. So daisy@disney.com. We can go to manual here, and it's going to show us 3 different columns. We have our original field here. We have our more recent contact here. And then this is what is, it's kind of taking the best of both worlds. So I used to, when I was coaching, I would say, it worked really well as far as understanding. I would say this is the daddy on the left and the mommy on the right, and the baby in the middle. So it's what we are, the best of both worlds, the best of those two, both people, the best of both of them. So it is taking over the original ID. It grabbed Daisy and Duck and the email address, and there's nothing else on this side that it needed. So I think we're all good with that. So we can just say merge and return to search. And yes, it is permanent, so we want to click OK. So what that does is allows you to go through each one and manually and update them, or we can go to data cleanup and merge duplicate contacts by overwriting old data. We don't want to do that one. We want to do this one, merge contact records, duplicate contact records, by only adding new data not overwriting old. We don't want to get rid of the old stuff just in case there is a contact record or something that that still is good. So Maureen is asking, how do you get rid of contacts that have the same first name and the same last name? Are those spam? I don't quite understand what do you mean if the first name says Tom and they filled in the last name Tom as well? Is that what you're talking about? A lot of times people don't want to put in their last name, so they will just add, they'll just put in their first name twice. And I don't know if bots, if spamming bots can do that, so I don't know how that works. But a lot of times if you have an opt-in form, chances are if you have you're going to be asking for a first name, not a last name, in just a regular opt-in lead capture. A lot of times people think that that's a barrier to entry. They're kind of afraid to give you their last name. So on a lead capture for a free report or a free consultation or a discount or something like that, what you're wanting to do is making it a low barrier to entry. We want to just have an email address and first name. It's really good to have a first name because then you can email them and talk to them instead of in their emails, instead of having it say something like hi friend or just hi comma. We want to make sure it's a little more personalized because we can. All right, let's go back and look at that search again. Now that we've done a first name search, we did an @ search, let's do a tag search, and let's look for the people that we imported today. So we have 4. I know that we added 4. How did I do it? 4. No. What's today? 411? I'll just pretend it's this one. I don't remember what I named it. So let's do a search. Oh, thanks, Tara. So it brings up John Doe and Minnie Mouse. And if you'll see what I'm doing, I'm hovering and these little buttons keep popping up. We call this, or I call it, quick action or actionable view. It just makes things quite easy. It's kind of inline editing that you can get into the contact record without going into the contact record. So we have John, first name, last name, phone number, email address, state, country, and owner. This is just one type of view. Quick action, if we want a list view, we can come over here to the right-hand side, little sideways and upward squares here, and go to the upward one, the grid view and interactive view. So the grid view is just going to give you a list of things, and you can't do any type of editing in here. But you can take this list, go to actions, and do all of these things in here. Let's go back to interactive view. You still have the capability of doing all of those things. So if you want to export that list or work off a cleaner list, if this is easier for you, that's fine too. So the interactive view is interesting because you can create a note, a task, an appointment, send an email, create a quote or order, tag them, so you can see John has imported on the 11th. Here's my import list. He's an event attendee, newsletter, etc. And here are the forms that he filled out. Of course, he didn't fill out any here. And here are the campaigns that he's associated with. If you are using opportunities or if you have a sales team, you'd be able to see John's opportunities, and then also scored and recent activity. So if we go in and look at John's contact record, we have all of his who he is from the save bar all the way up. So we have all the tags that are visible right here. We have time zone, language, social media, his billing address, and this is important address that the credit card will ping off of, the phone or fax information, if he has purchased anything through Infusionsoft, and if there's a lead score to show his engagement and what kind of a contact he is, and who his owner is, person type, company, etc. Then we have the address. Here's a secondary address, additional information, person notes. This is where met at winter conference would be. That's where it mapped to. And again, this is relationship building here. And then custom fields, we don't have any for him. So we are back to the General tab, and we scroll down to that Save button again. And just remember that above the button is who they are, and below the button is what we're going to do with them, or what they're currently doing, the action. So we have tasks, completed, previous appointments. Here's another notes field. That's kind of weird. So this, remember, is person notes. It's very personal. It's who they are, where they came from. And this note section here is actionable notes. So if I have a team that calls people and they need to keep daily notes on those activities, you're going to use this area. This is a date stamped and actionable note. So you can create note templates. I've got a few in here just that I created for learning purposes. So like admin, cancel subscription. And what this does, if I were to add this note, it will show you an updated, when it was updated on 4/11, who assigned it, who did it, and then here's the title of that template, canceled subscription, and John Doe chose to end their subscription. But what it does is it creates some automation. Let me see if I have that set up in here. It does. So what I did was, when they click on that note, when the rep clicks on that note to cancel that subscription, they don't actually have to cancel anything. They're just clicking on that note template that creates the automation for them. So what this does is creates an action inside the campaign builder to cancel the subscription. So note templates are kind of cool. Let's go back to tasks. We also have form submissions. So if John Doe signed up on my website, you would be able to see what form John came in on and the time and date. Then you also have recent email history. So let me show you somebody that I know had been receiving some emails. So let's go into Maria and scroll down to the action stuff. So she filled out my reunion questionnaire on 3/9, and this is the URL for that survey. And here are the email, this is the email history. And you can see that the first one was opened. These 3 were not opened. So then you have a little more idea of engagement as well. Now Scott is asking, is there a place to attach documents like PDFs, Word documents, or Excel spreadsheets to each contact? Each contact, yes, you can hold it in there. but you have to go in and then save it and send it. So let's go take a peek at that one. We are in the actionable section down here in the contact record, and what you're doing is going all the way over to the right-hand side to File Box. And you can browse and upload it to this section for John Doe and then attach it. And then you can have files in here, and they have to be under 10 megabytes. So you'll also be able to look at their scored and recent activity, follow-up sequences, what campaigns they're associated with, opportunities, if they've created any orders, web profile, lets you see what operating system they're using and what browser they're using, so it keeps you up to date as well. And when they view. So on the 9th, I know that she viewed my website or my page a couple of different times. So what we've done today, just a little recap, we've added contacts very manually through the plus sign, through the contact, add a contact area. We did a simple import. We looked at the duplication process as well, a couple of different ways to view the list. So let's go back. Let's go to one of our saved searches. Who is interested in a golf activity for the reunion? And that's already a saved search, so we don't need to do that. But what we want to do is put it on our dashboard so we can see it. So let's go to our dashboard. We're hovering over the upside down arrow and going to dashboard, because I have dashboard saved in as one of my favorites. And I don't have a widget here for that area, so I'm going to add a widget. And the one that I'd like to add all the time is the custom statistics. So it's popped out onto my dashboard, and now I need to fill it with those saved searches. So all categories, we want to go to contact category, and it's my golf people, and save. From here, I can rename this reunion activity. Oops. Reunion activities. And I can add another step. Contact. And I know that there's one in there that they wanted dinner and dancing. Save and add. And I also know that there's one in there for a family-friendly picnic. Maybe. I know there was a barbecue. And save. Okay, now I have a good idea by looking at my dashboard all the time how things are looking for what they're wanting. So I had more people that wanted the dinner and dancing than I wanted the barbecue. I don't really have to organize a golf event, but I'm keeping an eye on that as those numbers come in. Then you can actually go to the 67 here, click on it, takes you to that group of names, go up to actions, and then I could send them all a broadcast. Send a broadcast saying blah, 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 whatever I wanted to do. So we have gone over quite a bit today. Does anyone have any questions? We have about 5 minutes. You guys are pretty easy today. You're very welcome, Tara. Thank you. Anthony has a question. And Tara, my name is Monica. Thank you for asking. And Maureen is asking if there's an email webinar or a webinar coming up that will go over the email blast campaign. The email blast and campaign, those are two different ones, Maureen. So tomorrow will be an email builder campaign. That was silly. Email builder webinar. Thursday is the campaign builder webinar, but I don't think Thursdays is going to go on the live one because Judy has something she has to do on that morning. So you guys are all going to get last week's recording. We've put all of these on our YouTube channel so that you can refer back to them. So all of you will get that link so you can watch last week's campaign builder webinar, and we do the same thing every week, or try to. So Alejandra says, is there a way that we can access this again? Yes, you're going to get this in a recorded format this afternoon. You'll get it in your email. And then Scott asks, is there a way to text a web link, web address form? Text a web link? Yes. That's something you'll probably want to talk to your coach about to look at, but let me show you where you can kind of get some information for it first. In this little icon up here, the marketplace, go to products and services. And you'll want to put in SMS. We have several different things in here. So SMS integration here. We have call loop, SMS, and voice broadcasting. Different things, and these are just different third-party applications. Fix Your Funnel, I know. I've seen that for a long time. Mobit is also a good one. And those all are text applications that are third-party that you can, it's like paying $37 a month, you'd have access to a certain something. Anthony is asking, mine is about Outlook Sync. Do you know of a way to create a meeting in Outlook and map it to the contact record? A meeting in Outlook. Ooh, that's a good question. Anthony, I need to find an answer to that one. Just a second. And then Velma is asking, why do some students not show up in my updated contact list? They're not tagged. So somehow they're not getting a tag when you're getting them into Infusionsoft. So they have to have that name on them. It is literally pretend that that is their last name, that they're not a contact in there until you add a name to them, which is a tag. Barbara is asking, should I set a tag or column on my spreadsheet? Yes, you should. If you already know who they are, then yes, I for sure would put it in there because then you don't have to do it later. And then just make sure if it's more than one that you are separating with a comma. So Anthony, let's go back to your Outlook question. Do you know a way to create a meeting in Outlook and map it to the contact record? I don't think that's capable, that it's possible, I mean. In fact, I know it's not. What you could do, though, is use a scheduling tool. A scheduling tool would do that. And that's something that you can look into a little bit more with Appointment Setter, maybe. There's something called Appointment Core, set appointments, post-appointment follow-up. You have different things in here that you can take a peek at and see if any of that idea might work for you. Time Fusion. What I use every single day is something called Appointment Core, and it was written basically for Infusionsoft. What it does is it sends you guys a link. It acts like Time Trade. It sends you a link. You click on it. You pick the appointment you want. Then it will show up on my calendar. And then because it's integrated with Infusionsoft, it will then tell Infusionsoft that the appointment's been created and send them reminders through Infusionsoft, or you can turn that feature off and have Appointment Core take over. And it's pretty snazzy. A lot of those appointment companies or software works really well, and Time Trade does that, but Appointment Core has an integration with Infusionsoft that's native, and it works really good. All right, I think we've come to the end of the hour almost, and thank you again for taking your time with me today. You will get this in a recording this afternoon once it reformats, and have fun getting in there and getting your hands dirty and start creating things. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for the questions and being active in the class, and I hope that I was able to give you enough for today. And if you have a chance tomorrow, come to the email builder with Judy at 10 o'clock Pacific. Same place that you signed up for this one. Go back to your application and register for her class. And then you'll also have the recordings for last week if you can't make it for the live ones. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day or evening or wherever you are. Bye-bye.